You ever have one of those days when a stranger says something so cold it just echoes in your bones? We don't serve people like you. Those words hit harder than you'd expect. I remember standing there frozen at the counter, coat faded, boots, cracked a beanie pulled low over my brow. I must have looked like someone who hadn't seen a warm bed in days. Chad, the manager, he didn't blink. His voice was all ice and training like he'd said this line 100 times before. There's a hygiene standard here. Please leave. Nobody looked up. Not the baristas, not the customers who barely glanced before turning back to their laptops. I fished out a crumpled $5 bill and held it up. Just a regular coffee, that's enough, right? Chad didn't even acknowledge it. There's a convenience store down the block. Try there. My hand shook a little as I tucked the bill away. I stepped out into the night air, the wind biting through my coat. No one in that room knew the man they'd just turned away was Jackson Miller, founder of the roast place. But that's the thing, right? Most folks don't know what it feels like to be invisible, to be hungry, to be ignored. But I do. I grew up in a shoebox apartment in Brooklyn, 4 kids, 1 mom, and the kind of noise that only comes from a building packed with lives, stacked on top of each other. Mom worked nights cleaning offices and days folding laundry. Dinner was peanut butter on stale toast. Sometimes just the smell of fried onions from the hallway had to do. At 9, I delivered newspapers, rain, snow, no excuses, wrapping each in plastic and pedaling until my legs went numb. On weekends, I collected bottles. 50 cents was a sandwich, $1 was lunch for my little sister. My shoes always had holes, my notebooks always secondhand, but somehow, Mom made it feel like we weren't poor at home. She'd brush my hair and say, "You don't need much to have worth." I still carry those words with me even now, standing outside my own cafe, wondering if anyone believes them anymore. When I opened the first roast place, there was barely enough money for chairs, most were scavenged, every mug mismatched. But I carved a wooden sign for the wall, not fancy, just honest coffee is meant to be shared. That's what I built, somewhere warm for the bus driver on break, the teenage mom with a stroller, the guy who always counted out coins for drip coffee. Nobody was rushed. Nobody was judged. Every free refill, every quiet smile, that was our message: you matter. Now I stood across the street watching my own creation through glass. The old sign was gone. Nobody seemed to miss it. Emma was maybe 24, neat ponytail, tired eyes, hands that moved fast but gentle. She slid a muffin a day old but still good to a man in a worn coat. "Here," she whispered. He smiled grateful, but before he could thank her, Chad swooped in, jaw tight. "You're not here to give things away. That's theft." Emma shrank, stammering, but Chad cut her off. "Do it again, and you're done." Nobody said a word. Only one man in the corner, half hidden, met her eyes. He saw everything. You know what I mean? Sometimes the only person holding on to what matters is the quietest one in the room. Then a man in work boots, hard hat in hand, sweat on his collar, came in for a coffee. Chad barely glanced up. "We're about to clean the kitchen. Come back in an hour." The machines were humming. The kitchen wasn't closing, but the man nodded left without coffee. Minutes later, a woman in heels entered. Chad greeted her with a latte, saved her favorite table. In the back, Emma wiped trays, and Sarah, pale and young, asked, "My daughter's sick. I need to leave early." Chad, cold as ever, told her, "Either stay or don't bother coming back tomorrow." She tied her apron tighter and got back to work. Watching from my seat, I saw it all: kindness traded for survival, dignity surrendered for tips. It pulled me right back to childhood when Mom and I shared what little we had. Once we scraped together money for soup at a diner, but the waiter shook his head. No sharing. 1 order per person. We left hungry, walking out into snow. That night I swore if I ever had a place, any place, it would be somewhere no one felt small. But now people were being turned away from my own walls. The cafe looked the same, wooden counters, warm lights, but the soul felt missing. I wondered if I'd built something that outgrew its own heart. Let me back up a sec. It's easy to lose sight of things when you're busy. Maybe the changes happened slow, maybe I was just too far removed. I started coming in each morning, same coat, same beanie, blending into the sidewalk, jotting notes on a cracked old phone. Every 10 minutes I watched who got served, who got ignored, how long someone waited, who smiled, who didn't. By day 3, the pattern was clear, the wealthy were greeted. Everyone else filtered out subtle but steady. Behind the counter, buried in the paperwork, was a black notebook. I spotted it when Chad left it open. Handwritten names, red underlines too loud. Cheap clothes, weird smell. Notes like, no service encouraged takeout. Doesn't match our brand image. Folks I'd known by face reduced to warnings. Emma kept quietly giving water to a man who couldn't pay muffins to a hungry kid. Chad snapped, "No more freebies. This is a business, not a charity." She shrank in on herself, but didn't stop being kind, just started hiding it. The warmth was still there, just buried beneath fear. Discounts vanished without warning. No more senior deals, no more student rates, no punch cards for low-income families. Chad called it streamlining. My coffee tasted bitter that day. The place was turning into a filter only certain people got through. Most didn't even notice except for me and the people who just stopped coming. Then came the money trail, a day's deposit, missing cash sales, unlogged receipts that didn't match reports. I dug into the system, same sales totals, but discounts erased, wages, doctored profits inflated. It wasn't just drift, it was theft. And that's when the twist landed: a forwarded email subject, expansion opportunity, premium clientele only. Chad pitching a plan to rebrand the roast place, but this time for people who belong. No community board, no discount days, just high-end decor and aspirational customers. The words made my stomach turn. The very thing I built for the forgotten was being flipped to shut them out. Chad started hunting Emma, new camera, aimed at her station notes on her personnel file. Too emotional. Remove within 30 days. He called her emotional garbage within earshot, and she just kept working, steady hands, polite smile. I asked her, "Why do you stay?" She told me, "My mom's sick. This job keeps the lights on. But also, years ago, this place gave me a chance. Someone has to remember what it meant." That was the moment. I realized Emma was the only one still fighting for my dream. I couldn't stay silent any longer. At 10:42 p.m., I logged in using an old admin alias and sent a message: "Urgent staff meeting, strategic investor visit. Presence required." The next morning, Chad rehearsed his pitch to a ghost investor, all about luxury exclusivity, raising the floor. "No one poor will set foot in here again," he bragged. Staff gathered nervous. Emma bit her lip. Rachel checked her watch. Tyler fiddled with a pen. The air felt charged. Something was about to break. At 10:30, I walked in tattered coat, scuffed boots, straight to the center. Chad barked, "Get him out," but I placed a folded paper by the projector and looked up. "I won't be long." Actually, I do. People stared. "My name's Jackson Miller. I founded the roast place." Silence. I pulled off my beanie. Gray hair, tired eyes, unmistakably me. Then I spoke. "Before we talk about your future here, everyone deserves to know what's been happening." I opened my laptop, mirrored the screen, slides showing mismatched sales reports, doctored spreadsheets, audio of Chad cutting cash reports, emails proposing a rebrand to exclude the poor unauthorized bonus logs. Chad tried to protest. I was under pressure, I was optimizing, but the staff wasn't buying it. Excuses don't drown out the truth. I turned to Emma. "She's the reason I still recognize this place. She should lead it." Gasps, then applause, soft at first, then stronger. Emma froze, overwhelmed. "Are you sure? Never been more sure of anything?" Then the front door chimed. 2 officers stepped in. Chad Whitmore. "Yeah, what's this about?" I handed over a folder, evidence of financial fraud, payroll manipulation, illegal sale attempts. Chad blustered, "I'll sue." The officers just read his rights and cuffed him. No one protested. No one looked at him. They were looking at Emma, standing where he used to. Justice didn't come in a blaze. It came quietly, steadily at the right time. And when it did, the silence broke. Lena spoke up. He made us pay for broken cups, docked hours for bathroom breaks. Tyler added, he canceled tips if we didn't hit quota. Story after story poured out. Relief, not fear. The cafe felt lighter, like something old had finally left. This place was never about profit first, I said quietly. It was built to welcome, to warm, to hold space for people with nowhere else to go. Emma nodded, accepting the mantle. No big applause, just a gentle touch, a smile, the sense that finally we'd come home. Morning sun spilled through the windows, the line stretched to the door, and the old wooden sign hung behind the counter. Once more, coffee is meant to be shared. Emma moved with quiet confidence. No clipboard, just a smile. People of every stripe, students, construction workers, suits, sat together sharing space. A small box by the register, handwritten sign, Pay It Forward Coffee. Emma launched the program quietly. Within a month, 500 cups had been given away, no fanfare, just a gentle, someone left this here for you. It wasn't charity, it was humanity passed from hand to hand. One day, Victor stepped in no suit, just a battered jacket and tired eyes. Can I get a black coffee? Emma didn't hesitate. Here, no charge. She smiled. At this cafe, everyone deserves a chance to start again. Victor nodded, whispering thanks, hands trembling around the cup. I watched from my corner, heart full, not from victory, but from recognition. Justice isn't always punishment. Sometimes it's a door left open for someone who finally understands the cold. You ever been turned away? Felt small, in a place that should have welcomed you? You're not alone. Every closed door can become a new one if someone's brave enough to open it. Maybe that's you. Maybe it's just a coffee or a seat, but the smallest kindness can be someone else's turning point. So tell me, have you ever been given a second chance or given one to someone else? Share your story below. Let's build a world where no one stands alone in the cold, where one cup can change everything.